Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It has been some time, but I am back here with a new video today. This time we're gonna try cooking something. What are you thinking today? Maybe some cinnamon rolls. That's right, homemade cinnamon rolls. Not from a can, all from scratch. I've done it before, I can do it again. Let's do it together. As you can see, things have changed a little bit around here. We are no longer in our little teeny apartment in Mammoth. We have a house. So I have this big, huge kitchen to deal with. It's a little messy right now. I don't want to show you. Keep going, it's just messy. But it is currently 9:34, and I need to go get some repairs done on my car, and hopefully that won't take very long. And then I'll come back and we will get started. All right, I'm back. Now let's get working on these cinnamon rolls. First things first, gotta put my apron on. The first thing you wanna do is get your ingredients ready. I'll put the recipe in the description below, and that way you could do it at home if you would like. You need, the first two items you're gonna need is 1/4 ounce packet of active dry yeast and 1/2 cup of warm water. And you wanna combine those, I have one here. Combine those, maybe stir it with a little spoon just so the yeast dissolves. Grab a spoon here. And then let it sit for like 5 minutes or so until you notice that the yeast is activated. We'll set that aside. And then the next thing you want to do is in the bowl of your stand mixer, if you have one. If not, just use a regular bowl, it's fine. You can use a hand mixer or you can use your brute strength. To the bowl of your stand mixer, you should add the next five things. 1/2 cup of warm milk, 1/4 cup of granulated sugar, which is just regular white sugar. A 1/3 cup of melted butter. I know it's weird, usually baking recipes use softened butter, but this one asks for melted. So melted butter. 1 teaspoon of salt. I used pink Himalayan salt, but it's just what I had around the house. I didn't have any regular salt, so. And then 1 egg. Now you can just whisk that up to combine it all. Kind of break up the yolk. Get the sugar kind of dissolving a little bit. Okay. Put that on your mixer. Next comes the flour, and you want to add it in a couple different increments, so that way, for one, you don't make a huge mess all over your kitchen, and two, it just kind of combines a little bit better because you still have to add the yeasty water, which is great. Okay, so you want to add this to your mixer. It's the little dough hook. So attach that. Okay. Now you want to add 2 cups of flour, and I'm just using all-purpose flour. I would not recommend using gluten-free because it just doesn't work. No, this recipe is not gluten-free. It's not vegan. It's not healthy. It's bad for you, but it's delicious. All right. 2 cups of flour. And then mix that in. Grab what is this called? A rubber scraper, not a spatula. Spatula, you flip pancakes with. Rubber scraper, you scrape a bowl with. Turn off the machine and kind of scrape down the excess flour. get it all combined in there. Okay, and now you can add in the yeast and water. Try not to make a mess. And then the next step will be to add another 2 cups of flour. I like to turn the machine off when I do this just so I don't get it all over the top of the, what is it called? The dough hook. Alright, 2 cups of that. And then mix this all together until it is pretty easy to handle. So it'll be like a solid dough rather than a batter. Okay, so that came together really good, really nicely. And it kind of pulled all the stuff off the sides of the bowl, so the bowl is pretty clean. So I will lift this up. You can let the machine go a little bit and that'll do some of the kneading for you, but I like to do it by hand also, just so you make sure you get it really worked well to develop the gluten. You pour some flour on a work surface. I just use my counter because I don't really want to dirty another dish. Or you can use a cutting board, whatever you have. All right. Spread that around and then you turn this out onto the floured surface and just knead it for about 5 to 10 minutes just to work the dough. All right, that's all kneaded. The next thing that you want to do is put it into a greased bowl. I'm just gonna use the same bowl from my stand mixer and I'm just gonna spray it with some spray. Cooking spray. I can get this off. Got it. So successful. All right. Then I will plop this ball of dough in the bowl and then just cover it with some plastic wrap. Put it in a warm place, not a hot place, but a warm place. It's summer right now in Southern California where I am, and it's probably like 78 or so degrees in my house. I don't know, my air conditioning is super cool. I think that'll be fine. We'll see. If it's not fine, just let it go a little longer. I have heard of a couple tricks where you can boil a pot of water, once the water is boiling, remove it from the heat and put the pot of water and the bowl with the dough into the oven, and that kind of creates some heat in the oven, just enough to warm up your dough and let it proof. Don't turn the oven on, just put the bowl and the hot water. You will know when it's done proofing when it's about double in size. So take a good look at it now, look how big it is. Take a picture of it if you have to. And then once it's doubled in size, then you're ready for the next step. And that'll be hopefully in about an hour and a half. Or by the magic of video editing, right about now. It's been about 2 hours. I checked it at an hour and a half and it was probably ready to go, but I got distracted and now here we are, 2 hours. That's okay. It is a huge ball of dough. It's massive. Now what we have to do is punch it down, get some of the air out of it, and then we are going to roll it out into a square or a rectangle that will be about, I don't really know, 14 by 11 guesstimation. So you kind of want to put it on your work surface in like a square shape, and then grab a rolling pin. Make sure you have plenty of flour left over nearby so you can prevent it from sticking to the counter or your rolling pin. You want to get it pretty thin because it's just gonna puff up a ton, because we're gonna end up proofing it again after we roll and cut the individual rolls. Alright, I have it all rolled out. It's not a perfect square rectangle because it's a little round on the side, but it's fine. They're homemade. It'll be fine. Right now it's time to do the filling. For this step, you're gonna need a half a cup of butter, which is like 1 stick of butter, melt it in the microwave till it's liquid. And you're gonna want to pour and brush it over the dough. If you have a pastry brush, it just makes it so much easier to spread it rather than using a spoon, or I guess you could use whatever you want. Doesn't really matter, but I find that a brush works really good. Try to make it as even as you can. I know it's hard when the butter is liquid, but try to get it as even as possible. Now the next step, you want to have a half a cup of sugar and 2 tablespoons of ground cinnamon. So let me measure the cinnamon out, and we'll mix those 2 together and then sprinkle that on top of the butter. Okay, ta-da! The next step now is to roll it up into one big long tube, and then we're going to cut it. So very carefully pick up one of the edges and slowly start rolling it. Try to get it pretty tight. You don't want any air pockets in there. I probably have a couple already, but also don't go too tight where you're squishing out all the butter, which I feel like I'm doing that also. So try to find a happy balance somewhere in there between. And then, as I said before, it wasn't a perfect rectangle, so obviously the end ones aren't going to be super cute. Maybe I'll just bake those in a separate pan, because I think I made it a little too long, so it's going to be more than the 12 that it's supposed to make. The recipe's supposed to make 12 rolls. So we'll see what happens. If you are a lucky person and you have a bench scraper, what is it called? A baker's bench scraper, you can use that to cut this, because you don't really need a blade, but I'm gonna use a knife anyway. So you want to cut it into 12. How I do that is I first cut it in half into 2, and then cut each half into 6. So I will cut each half in half again, and then cut each 4th into 3. I'm losing a little bit of my filling. It's okay, it's not the end of the world. We'll survive. Now you want to get a 9x13 baking dish and coat the bottom in some kind of oil, butter, whatever you have. I'm just going to use some spray oil. And then sprinkle a bit of sugar in the bottom. I didn't really measure that sugar. Holy Jesus. There's a certain time of day where the light comes through the windows and it makes me look holy. Okay, I think that'll buy us a little bit of time. Okay, so now we want to lay our rolls in the pan. doing 3 rolls by 4 rolls. And then the ones that are kind of close to the end, you want to put the ugly side down so that the pretty side faces up and gets enjoyed. Okay, so now we will we'll cover them with some more plastic wrap, let them rise again, probably the same amount of time, an hour and a half. And then once they are risen and nice and puffy and the size that you would want them to be when they're cooked, you can either bake them right away or you can wait till the next day. And that's what I'm gonna do now. I'm gonna put them in the fridge and then I'm gonna wake up in the morning and pop them into the oven, and we'll get to that in a second. Good morning. All right, time to bake these bad boys. My oven is preheated to 350 degrees and we are gonna bake these guys for 30 minutes. See, they puffed up really good. I'm pretty excited. There's a couple of little small ones like this one, but that was obviously one of the ones that was towards the end of the roll, so it happens. It's fine. I'll probably eat that one first. So we're gonna put these in the oven for 30 minutes. Don't forget to set a timer. I feel like I forget to set the timer all the time. So we will do that. All right. And then now we will get started on the frosting. So the recipe that I have linked includes a little recipe for a glaze, but I am partial to the cream cheese frosting. So we're gonna do that. So we're gonna need our stand mixer and we're gonna use the whisk attachment, which looks like this. So put that on. And for this recipe, you will need half a cup of butter, AKA 1 stick of butter. Pop that in here. Make sure it's softened, otherwise you'll get a lumpy dough, or lumpy frosting. And that is not fun. You'll get like a chunk of butter, not cute. And then you can use regular Philadelphia cream cheese or the store brand, whatever works. Just use the full fat one. But what I'm gonna do is use this mascarpone cheese. It looks like this. You can find that in the little cheese department, in the deli at the grocery store. And then you know how they have the little rounder with the cheese? It's usually right there with the fancy stuff like the goat cheese and things like that. Into the bowl. And then we want to mix the cheese and the butter together till they're nice and creamy. If your butter and your cheese are both softened, it should take no time at all. Really. And then the next thing you want to add is 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. And then we add in 4 cups of powdered sugar. All right, I have the powdered sugar here. So I'm just gonna add 1 cup at a time, just so it doesn't make a mess. That is 3. All right, that is all incorporated. I'm gonna taste it. Perfect. So good, super sweet, super cheesy. I love it. All right, now we will wait until those cinnamon rolls are done baking. They should have like a nice golden brown color on top, and I'm really excited. Let me just tell. Okay, my timer just went off, so I'm gonna pop them out of the oven and we'll take a look, see if they're done or not. Ooh. So they're nice and golden. And I think they are ready to go. They're so bubbly. Love it. All right, so I'm gonna let these cool off And then I will frost them with the cream cheese frosting. And then I'll probably serve them up with some eggs and maybe some ham on the side. Sounds pretty good, right? Nice little breakfast. I hope you get to make these at home yourself and let me know what you think in the comments below. Also, let me know if you want to see more cooking or baking videos from me. If there's anything special that you would like me to make, feel free to let me know in the comments. I also do some crafting, so if you want to learn how to make this amazing apron that I've been wearing, I can make a video for that too. So, thanks for watching, like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.